Sometimes success looks like a full calendar and an empty heart. Today's guest knows that terrain very well. Darcelle is a triathlete, mom, nurse, leader, and now a coach for healthcare professionals. Someone who went from holding it all together on the side to rebuilding from the inside out. On one Halloween night, she poured her last drink down the sink, laced up her shoes, and chose a different story. 1 mile, one swim, one ride at a time. Her heart mattered. Healing, engagement, alignment, resilience, transformation isn't about quick fixes. It's about coming home to yourself. If you ever felt like burnout is your baseline, this conversation is your breather and your blueprint. So, dear listeners, I give it to you, my fabulous and lovely guest, Darcelle Welker. Pleasure to have you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. I'm very pleased to be here and just can't wait to hear how the conversation goes.
Ma'am, for someone like me, I am a 22-year-old, young male. For me, these burnouts don't feel like this can be something that I feel that I am away from these things. It is something that I cannot have it. So I would love to know about these things, but let's start from the origin story. Tell me about that last drink moment about yours.
Yeah, so I started drinking when I was 13. Was just a big part of my life growing up, and drank all through college, became a nurse, was drinking as a nurse, had a family. Um, After my dad passed away, I really felt the weight of that grief and became very secluded and depressed and, you know, using the drinking as a crutch, really. I wanted to stop. I had tried several times, but there was a voice on Halloween night. We had gone trick-or-treating, and of course, I was, drinking my wine along the way, and a voice at the end of the night just said, "You're done. Pour it out." And I did. And I started a new path forward that very next day. It wasn't easy. Um, it was something that I did by myself because I thought as a leader and a nurse, I shouldn't have this problem. And I felt so alone, but uh, I overcame it. I've been sober for 16 years. Really became a new person after I quit. I got 2 promotions. I went back and got a master's degree. Yeah, just started triathlon. Uh, just really recreated myself. I had really lost who I was, and I had to find that again. And in there was some burnout too, with some job positions. And had to do some kind of switching inside of the nursing career to find my joy again.
Ma'am, my question leads to that only. What's the thin line between burnout and being broken?
Well, burnout, it starts slowly. It kind of creeps in a little at a time, and sometimes you don't notice those symptoms until you're really at the end and, at that total burnout, exhaustion, depression. Things creep in like, you may have slept really well, but in the morning you're still tired and you don't feel like you've got that needed rest. You start becoming, cynical, and little things are bothering you that didn't used to bother you. But then the breakdown, really can be complete mental exhaustion. Physically, you feel it in your body in many ways. So it can be very hard to navigate. So you want to catch early on the symptoms. Uh, yeah. Say that one more time.
Can you tell us about those symptoms that we can, distinguish about them and actually deal with?
Yeah. So the symptoms of burnout, like I mentioned, emotional exhaustion is really for nursing. I'm speaking really for the nursing profession. The number one symptom is emotional exhaustion. So there's data that says it's let's see, 31% of nurses in the United States do report burnout. So that's a pretty high number.
Yeah. And so, ma- ma'am, you mentioned about the heart method. Can you tell us about what it is and give us some stories of your, you know, clients that it might work for them, and how should we, like, as a 22-year-old or maybe someone who is young, how to adjust that into his lifestyle?
Yeah, so the heart method is really my method of coaching. It really starts, coaching the heart of healthcare leaders and professionals with healing. So, you first have to recognize that you are having these symptoms, and acknowledgement is really the first part of that. Um, we work with your strengths. I have a great tool that we work with strengths to help find what strengths that you have that can really, that you can bring forward and help heal yourself into, in your everyday situations. We work on engagement. It could be engagement, with yourself, who you are, with your teammates, with your coworkers, and alignment fits in there into, your values, and how you can take your values and align them in your roles. You may have many roles in your life, and you need to be in alignment with all of those to really help feel whole. Resilience, we work on tools for resiliency, which I think are tools anyone at any age would benefit from having. And then T is transformation. It's really just putting all of these together, and being able to um, walk forward in a new path with a different mindset, and focusing on, what the good can be in life. So that method serves clients of any age, really in any career setting, to be able to just be their best self.
Ma'am, let's just have a very specific example. Let's say a nurse who has like zero schedule control in her life, which most of the nurses do. How would this heart matter look like for her?
So I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and we just work through any roadblocks, any places where that they're feeling stuck, mindset shifts. Um, it's really just creating space for that healthcare professional to think outside of the box, align with, truly what their values are, and how to take that moving forward. The space that coaching provides is um, an amazing space, a container for thoughts, for um, beliefs and ideas to spring to life. So it's just a blessing. I'm thrilled to be able to do it.
Very well said, ma'am. Ma'am, but there is a constant rhetoric that some leaders argue that healthcare needs tougher performance like standards and not more about self-care talk. How do you respond when budget, outcomes, and patient load are the scoreboard?
Yeah, and in healthcare, it really is. Everything is driven very financially, and I think a lot of times that the relationship building is really forgotten about. Um, I've been a manager. I'm now in a director position. I have managers that report to me, and there's nothing that can uh, replace the relationship and that you have with your team. So being visible is one of the biggest demonstrations a manager can do, and really holding space for their team members one-on-one as well. um, but it is a fine line to walk between um, wellness and keeping a balanced budget in within healthcare.
Also, there's a very vast or very strong narrative that quitting your alcohol means losing your social life. Is that true? What's your take on it?
So, initially that's what I thought. I really look back on it, and I thought I would. That was really my social network from, like I said, the age of 13 on. The weekends, yeah. So I did think that for a while, but man, was I wrong. So wrong. And, I think God puts the right people in your life at the right time. And, one of the nurses that I work with was like, hey, let's do a triathlon. And I was like, okay. I had no idea what I was doing. But I got a whole new set of friends, and I found a network of strong women, men who didn't drink and who put themselves first and put their health first. And it was so much more vibrant and meaningful than any of the time that I spent drinking. Um, it was the biggest blessing that I've had in my life. And I'm sharing honestly. I've never shared really publicly my story. So I'm loving that I have this space with you, Yusuf, to share it. It was transformational, and no, my life is so much better. Um, so if anyone's even remotely thinking that, just you've got to dream big, and there's so much on the other side. It's incredible.
True. This is very big, especially for my age group, because you are not preaching, you are offering some like kind of option that protects both their Saturday night and Monday mornings. So it's a very good option for them. I really want to know about how you manage all these things, being a nurse, now a coach, triathlete. How do you do it?
Um, One day at a time. I'm very good at organizing my time. I block time off on my calendar and really prioritize, what I need to do. Um, the triathlon is my fun. Like it's my girl time, my weekend time, my outdoor time, being in nature, physical fitness. Like there's joy in that. So that may not be what it is for someone else, but for me, it works. And sleep. Oh my gosh, I have to prioritize sleep. Um, I think organization probably and really time blocking is how I handle it the best. And I time block, really time to do nothing too, like really nothing. So, yeah.
Ma'am, I have also noticed a very vast spread trend that most of the teenagers and I would say most of the students basically have a very bad sleep cycle. They sleep at 1, 2 a.m. and wake up very late. And even if they wake up, they are not fully in their minds. What would you advise them? First of all, what are the drawbacks of this particular lifestyle? And then we can explore how can they fix it slowly, one step at a time.
Yeah. So I didn't really prioritize sleep for a long time. And then, of course, when you're drinking, that totally messes up your sleep cycle. But what I have found, really probably the simplest is to just go to bed at the same time every night. Um, wake up at the same time every morning, the next day, even if it's on the weekend, having 7 at least hours of sleep. Um, I use an app called Insight Timer, and I listen at night to a sleep story or yoga nidra just to kind of shut my mind down. Uh, there's thousands of them out there that are free that you can listen to. So I would say those are two really easy tips. You don't function well without sleep. Um, you can't think clearly. You can't um, multitask. Your body even starts choosing really poor foods if you're sleepy. I would find myself reaching for, the donut and more coffee, and that's really not what you want. It's really the foundation to feeling good.
Yes, ma'am. And also, while you were mentioning your quit alcohol story, you mentioned the role of community. You had good friends, good people around you. What would you say? How much big of a role they had in your journey?
I mean, a huge role. A huge role. They just really, I saw how much fun they were having and I wanted that. But being honest with a couple of them, I did tell them my story and they, you know, kept encouraging me. And, I was an athlete in high school and middle school. So, you know, being active wasn't new to me, but I'd forgotten that and I'd forgotten that joy that I had. So having the right friends, family, you're only as good as the people that you hang out with, right? So you always want to hang out with people that are better than you, smarter than you, healthier than you, um, just have higher, good, super good values that you can look up to and work with. Um, Someone once told me that you you are what you eat and who you hang out with. So I kind of feel like that's something to think about for sure.
Yes, that is indeed. They say there's a famous saying that you are the sum of five people you hang around. So you must have a good
Yep.
company around you. Ma'am, there's a question that I had for someone who is not ready to quit, let's say alcoholism or bad sleep or any bad habit. What's that one step that at least reduces that harm and a one step towards healing?
Well, I think you have to want to do it. Um, if you don't want to do it, you're probably not going to do it. So, but I think any progress is progress. So even if it's, you know, for sleep, if it's during the week, if you commit to good sleep hygiene during the week, and then, okay, so on the weekend, you're going to maybe stay out later on a Saturday night, but then get back on track, right? Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. So I think just, yeah, you have to want to do it. And then it's just tiny steps. You can't change the world in a day, but just something small. Even if it's one healthy meal for today. You know, I'm not perfect. I ate 4 cookies and a piece of cake the other day. So I just had to get back on track the next day. Yes.
Every step matters, even it's a small one. Your intention matters, your feelings matter. And let's come again back at burnout. I was wondering, let's just say ki if you spot in your team uh, someone who is burned out and they don't realize it, but you have spotted it, and how would you approach to them?
Yeah, I think you have to be aware of the signs and, check in with them. I would have, a one-on-one with them, ask them how they're doing. Listen. You have to listen and be silent. People will share when you're in a place of not being rushed and you feel heard. Um, so I think, asking questions, how is your sleep? Um, what can I do to help you? Um, like I said, it's all goes back to relationships, right? And you've got to have these close relationships with your team so that they do feel safe and listened to.
Yes, it all again starts with a community of people that are willing to do for you and, level you up. I was wondering that if you have something in your mind that you wanted to share, this is the stage, this is the moment that you can. Something that you had in mind that I'll say in my first podcast.
Yeah. First of all, I want to just put it out there. Always have a goal or something on your radar that challenges you. Um, and as a person who's overcome, burnout and addiction, having that scary goal is something that really helps push you to achieve. And we are so much more capable of things that we don't even realize it. It could be career goals. It could be anything. So just don't be afraid to put something out there um, that feels scary to you, and do it and go for it, because the baby steps that you take to get there, or when you cross that finish line, you're gonna feel amazing. Um, and go for it.
That's a great advice. Is there any way that our listeners can connect to you, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, or maybe a website of yours?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, Darcelle Welker Coaching. Um, I don't just connect with healthcare. I am happy to connect with anybody that needs some motivation, would like to break through some places where they're stuck. I do have a website, and it is Darcelle Welker Coaching also is the website. And anyone can set up a free 30-minute meet and greet and discovery call through there. Even if you just want to connect it and chat and share a story, or, ask questions, be curious. I'm happy to really meet with anyone.
We'll make sure that these links are down in our description boxes and anywhere that our listeners can find. Darcel, thank you for mapping the space between empty and alive and for giving us the heart as a compass. If you're listening and you felt seen today, pause before the next shift, the next email, the next scroll. Ask, what's one micro choice towards healing, engagement, alignment, resilience, or transformation? We'll link to Darcel's work in the show notes. Until next time, this is BizBlend, where ambition meets a better way to live it up. Thank you so much, my listeners, and thank you so much, Darcel. It was wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.